Do you have a pet? Yeah? Good? Good. You want another one? Another one the size of the house and shits green bubbles all over the carpet?
If you ever wanted to play a game that's basically exactly like owning a pet but with more near-death impossible situations and heart-wrenching tension, then The Last Guardian is for you. Seriously, if that sounds like a game up your street, then play it now.
Personally, I'm a big fan of Team Eco, and I was right there drooling over this game when it was first announced publicly with a video at E3 2009. And I've been following it for so long that when it finally came out, I honestly thought it was a joke in which you'd go to the shop and buy the game and then open the box to find a voucher for a secret gift valid in any single shop in the world, and you take this voucher to the cashier who then walks away to find the special gift and comes back with a big mug that has cunt written on it. Point is, it's here, it's out. I was expecting not to like it at all after I heard so much mixed reception and looking at a couple of reviews for this game first, so I went into it as critically as I could, going into it expecting not to like it, and yet after playing it, I fucking loved it. And even though I did love it, I'll be the first to admit this is not a perfect mechanical video game, and it does have a fair share of problems, but I still did love it.
Yeah, this here is not a perfect video game mechanically, but it is perfect for a minimalist puzzle platforming adventure for this generation, if you ask me, as you control a child through a savage yet gorgeous mountainous temple world trying to survive and figure out what the hell's going on. For full disclosure, I did play this on PS4 Pro, and I can confirm it's amazing on the system. The animations are jaw-droppingly accurate, the shadows and light bouncing off of the world are delicious, the sound design was monstrous in how it made everything feel huge and really there. And I can't speak for the original PS4, I've had different reports from different people, but the frame rate on PS4 Pro remained constant from start to end, and I don't know how PS3 could do it at all when it was originally being developed on that system. I mean, thank God that Team Eco waited. Some scenes in the game literally made me feel like I was playing a fucking CGI animated film, and it's one of the only games that has made me feel like that in a good way.
I gotta give props to the environmental design as well. It's not just a series of puzzles and platforming, it's you and the world. That's the environment, the design of the levels and everything, it's the world. And that's all.
If the paths and solutions to you escaping this weird prison were highlighted or obviously spelled out like in Uncharted with clearly defined and coloured climbing places, it'd kill the point and make it very easy. Everything in this game can be climbed and interacted with for full immersion. 3D space is utilised brilliantly for you to use your head with. Look around, see a possibility, experiment. There's nothing video gamey here. It's a relationship with your surroundings and learning how the world works. Puzzles and situations in the game rely on you not overthinking the hugeness and scale of what's around you. It's still minimal within all of the genital-destroying heights and grand beauty, and is as much about you finding the solution as it is with actually accomplishing the goal. And of course, there's the bonding and reliance on Trico, the completely adorable dog, cat, bat, chicken, whale thing. You never control him, and that strengthens your bond as a player to see him act on his own accord and listen to you alongside the kid with no name. Let's call him Tim.
Trico himself is absolutely fascinating, and for something that you never ever directly control within the game, I was extremely surprised how well he was pulled off. Not pulled off in that way, you little perv.
His subtle animations, reactions to things, behaviours towards items and objects, like with how you can make him follow particular smells, how his AI is just like an animal, like a dog, with how he'll mostly listen to you, but sometimes rather scratch an itch or follow a random sniff, get too freaked out by a particular thing that you need to get out of the way for him, or lie down until he gets fed something. It's scarily realistic, and yes, sometimes a little bit frustrating, like with the start of the game. It's really slow, and you have the least amount of input for him, and I can imagine that not having any direct control at all over him may be a little bit too frustrating for some people. I can completely understand that. But as you learn to teach commands and figure out how to apply the commands as you point to interactable points of interest for him, it gets a lot better. And it's kind of the point of the story, really. The game makes you feel like you're in a proper relationship with a thing that you don't initially fall in love with or even understand. Maybe you even hate it, which you then grow to know more about and begin to trust more as he begins showing affection, slowly ignoring the things he was scared of before, and eventually saving your life on multiple occasions. And not just through visual story hints or cutscenes, but all through direct involvement with the gameplay. By the point with this collapsing bridge where the floor crumbles below you, forcing you to jump towards him, and he caught me, only to then miss me a few minutes later, but then swung his tail around to save my life in slow motion, I knew I was playing a special game. It blew my fucking mind, and it was one of the best moments I've played in a game in a long time. And it keeps following up with moments like that, with extremely impressive, explosive, and equally subtle and emotional scenarios. And the incredible sweeping score combining with some of the most nail-biting trust and love situations were fucking amazingly done. And it made me further appreciate and grow fond of Trico and his AI. Or his AI can fuck up and he just lets you die. And I learnt new tricks for Tim and Trico up until the end of the game, like being able to step up high ledges while carrying things, which I've seen lots of people complaining about having to throw stuff everywhere, which isn't true, especially on this one puzzle which I did first try by getting a barrel up a narrow hole. It's easy, everyone, just don't throw the thing up every fucking individual step and letting it roll down and start again. Just carry it up each step and throw it when you need to. And other things I love picking up myself, like Trico's eye colours representing his mood and whether or not he'll listen to you. How you can call to Trico just before you throw him something so he's more likely to catch it. How when you're telling him to go somewhere or interact with something, if you keep on holding the direction where you're pointing him to do it, you'll see his head click onto the thing that he's supposed to be interacting with. How you can pull off enemies' heads when they've been knocked over by you or by Trico. Pulling Trico's tail to put it wherever you want to, and how he won't go anywhere near water unless you go first to test it. Like I said, it's minimal and you get occasional reminders for context-sensitive actions on how to perform different moves if you've been away from the game for a while, but that's all you get. There's no move list or tutorials or help with what you should do with the controls. You have to work it all out yourself. I get the feeling a lot of people didn't even realize that you can command Trico to jump towards something by holding the direction that you want him to jump while commanding him. It's all about giving you the bare mechanics and giving you the chance to be intuitive enough to work out when, where, and how they can be used in more seemingly complex situations. You are learning the inner workings of the control to command this beast as much as Tim is within the story itself by nothing but pure interaction, and I love that.
It does feel like opposite Eco, as it were, then, where you have two characters which are both using each other as a means to an end and can protect each other in different ways. And against Eco, of course, where you have Eco and Yorda, and Eco is more powerful and has to protect Yorda from beginning to end, and Yorda doesn't do much in the grand scheme of things apart from opening doors and helping out with maybe a puzzle or two. So it's a nice twist on the formula.
Trico is too big to get in caged gates, but Tim can easily fit through the gaps and open the gate further down the road. Tim can't fight at all and needs to run away whenever he's in an encounter, but Trico can destroy all in his path. Saying that though, Trico can fight but gets very stressed out, meaning that you have to pet him in certain spots and calm him down, as well as remove spears from his body. Trico can leap to the farthest and highest places, but you can also use him as a bridge, swing on his tail, a giant footstool if you ask him to sit, and all of this to reach smaller areas that he can't. You both need each other as much as each other to advance. Most obstacles test your jump, climbing, and command giving in unique ways, oftentimes simultaneously, and there's enough moments of escaping from shit yourself and panicking and screaming, wondering what to do, and then standing back and letting Trico clean up after you to make advancement in gate opening and puzzle solving feel like a reward all the time. It's not just the puzzle solving and enemy escaping that are satisfying, but that you do it all for this creature that completely wrecks the shit that made your puzzle solving so taxing. You even get water and physics communication puzzles later on in the game, which really caught me off guard, and I really did love to see.
And I did love my time with it, absolutely, but like I said at the beginning, even I can admit that it is flawed. The flawed guardian.
The bigness of Trico and cramped spaces are a problem that never mix at all, making the camera have a total fit as well as make you potentially die or get flung around by things you can't even see. And another very simple fix would be a jogging speed. I believe a certain nerd once called this
two-gear diarrhea,
where walking with the analog stick slightly pushed is painfully slow, but then anything more is dangerously fast. And like I said, you do have to get through a slightly sluggish beginning, and it kind of relies on how much you feel about Trico and how much you want to personally continue. If you aren't engaged, then it may fall apart for you slightly. I mean, this game's idea of optional challenge is just finding all the food barrels for Trico. It's not essential whatsoever, apart from a few times that you can't advance without feeding him. But what I didn't realize is that I was going out of my way to find these hidden barrels, not because of a reward I was expecting at the end of the game or anything, but just because I wanted to do it for my companion. And that kind of symbiotic relationship I haven't experienced in a game in a long time. I connected with this, and I feel doing it all through gameplay makes it a million times more worth it, despite how annoying it can sometimes look. And like every Team Eco game, it's definitely a minimalist story, but with a human character I actually found very endearing, much more expressive and logical, courageous and strong-willed. I liked controlling this kid. I won't spoil any of it at all, God forbid I ruin the twist, but there's a ton of flavoursome visual details and mysteries that let you piece together your own thing. And the last moments of the story I think are worth it for the entirety of the playtime. You could definitely say that climbing on Trico is a little bit sticky and awkward, but I don't care. I honestly believe the positives outweigh the negatives so fucking much that I managed to look past it all. I was absorbed by this game, and goddamn did I love it.
So yeah, it's not drop dead perfect as a video game itself, but Jesus, it's an incredible and wonderful adventure. And it's exclusive like this that make me proud to be a PlayStation player, honestly. It's unique, it's extremely different, it's extremely emotional and heartfelt, and it's one of the reasons I was drawn to all the stuff going on PS1 when I was a lot younger. So do you know what? I really did love this game, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. If it's your birthday today watching this video, happy freaking birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful.